turn these pages a little bit, and we'll get talking a little bit and start out, just sort of follow the story there. And feel free to take off on anything that you want. Any other stories or any other things that we should know, because this is obviously bare bones, and I don't know that much about it.
Sure.
This is an experiment. We're using somebody other than the cheesemaker to interview somebody, and John's usually the one that does it. But I've read over this enough that I feel a little bit identified with your story here. And once again, thank you very much for the contribution of it. So, shall we start? So today we're talking with Mrs. Marean, Florence, and she did us a great favor of contributing a whole box full of memorabilia and equipment from their 22 years of cheesemaking, first down at the factory, Oakley factory, and then for the last 21 years at the Five Corners factory. Now, the Oakley factory, Oakley was never much of a metropolis. I can remember.
A dozen people. Yeah,
a dozen. Okay. And was that was a pretty small factory for your first one?
Yes, I think we had probably 2 or 3 kettles in it.
2 or 3. Okay. Was that a co-op?
Yes, it was.
All right. And that was Vic's first
factory?
That
was his first factory. He had worked after teaching school. He first went to work for Alex Amma up in the hill, because his folks' farm was right over the hill, right next door to the cheese factory. So he worked there for the summer and decided he could make more money and liked it better than teaching schools. So he stuck with it, and then he was hired out to Joe Yagi in Twin Grove. And that's, he was working as a hired hand. And we were living in Twin Grove when we were married. And soon after that, then we moved into this Oakley cheese factory and then started on our own from there on.
Okay, so he'd been a school teacher?
That's right.
For where, country school?
Country school, up at the Purcell and the Pleasant View.
Okay. And then he made the mistake of trying working for a cheese factory and decided that was more
profitable and better.
Well, you two are a little unusual. Both of you are not Swiss.
No, neither one of us can talk Swiss. His folks talk German at home.
Okay, so Marian was German?
Marian, the name was German. His mother talked German, but they don't.
Florence, what was your maiden name?
Fries. Roy Fries from Germany.
So you were German also?
No. Some of my ancestors were German. That's the only nationality that I can back up to.
Okay.
German.
Well, that'll do. But you felt left out because you didn't talk Swiss.
Because I couldn't talk Swiss.
Well, tell us what you tried to do.
That's why I wanted our Sperry all the time from the Green County House to start up a class and teaching us how to talk Swiss to people, because they would come into the cheese factory and talk Swiss to me and think I could understand them, and I could not. And they were very, very surprised. And so I wanted to learn how to talk Swiss, but Art would never start up the class for me to learn.
Well, and you only stayed about a year at Oakley.
Yes, that's right. We were there just about a year, I should say. And then Ernie Cancer came down.
All right. So the factory was still in existence.
Yeah, the factory kept on going for a few years. Yes.
Okay, so then you moved to Five Corners.
Five Corners from Gabby Hauser.
Okay.
Brought up from Gabby Hauser.
That was the previous cheesemaker there. Okay, and that some of the other wives of cheesemakers has told us about horror stories of the places they have to live in some of the places. How was your living accommodation at Oakley?
Like they were back in the 1940s with the outdoor plumbing, and it was very, very inconvenient. We had to, from the old cheese factory, we went up through an old packing room, and then down into the living quarters from there.
Okay. And then
we were at the north end there of the building.
And when you moved to Five Corners, was that an improvement?
Well, that's where we were, the Five Corners. It was very rugged until we built the new factory.
Okay.
When they built the new, then the farmers went together to go up and decided to build on this new addition at the other side of the factory, on the other side of the living quarters.
Okay, so it's been called the Five Corners right from the beginning?
It has been called the Five Corners Cheese Co-op from the very beginning.
Right, and the other unusual thing, you stayed at the same cheese factory for 21 years.
That's right, we did.
From
we saw it build up from a little clear up to when we closed it in 64. We had 6 round kettles, copper kettles in that big factory, and 3 vats that we made brick and Munster and cheddar in, besides all those Swiss kettle. We were making 3 kinds of cheese at one time.
And so you're turning out 6 wheels of Swiss a day?
And we were making wheels too.
Yeah, okay, so the original Emmentaler type,
That's right.
if you'll excuse the Swiss.
That's right.
Which I don't know either. Okay, so his years really from fairly early on were quite successful.
Very much so. We just kept going.
Particularly for his Swiss, all of the clippings that we have emphasize Swiss cheese, that he had prizes in, everything from the Governor's Cup at the State Fair to numerous ribbons and prizes here. The article here is very interesting. You say he was a friend of the publisher of the Hordes Dairy?
Yes, Bob Davenport at that time.
Okay, and in 1958, they put together a booklet of 47 different careers in dairying to try to interest young people into going into dairy fields. And they selected Vic to do the piece on being a cheesemaker. And this is the article out of there. Reading it myself and not having any connection with the cheese business and looking at the details of how hard the work was, I can't picture why any young man would want to go into it.
It was hard to get hired. Good hired. It was hard.
Well, it was a long day.
That's why the wife had to be down there and the boys both.
Okay. All right, so that, according to this, they were still making cheese twice a day?
No.
No, it was just once a day.
We just made once.
Okay, but I guess he's talking about the earlier days when you got to bed at midnight sometimes because of the second cheese making. Okay. All right, so those were certainly the successful years and the glory years, and there were many of them, judging from these clippings. One interesting factor here with the co-op, you were on a percentage always, and you had to pay for everything.
Then we had to pay for everything, the fuel, the rent, everything, and the equipment, electricity. We had to pay for everything.
And you got, for that reason, somewhere between 13 and 14%.
It was between 13 and 14 always. Yes.
It's interesting that you got 14% according to your contract here in 1953, and that went down to 13.5 in 1954. Was business that bad?
I suppose the cheese price had something to do with it. I don't imagine.
All right. So not only, well, this is, we were talking about Joe Yagi and the number of cheesemakers that he trained. Here's Joe with a bunch of them, Fred Ochsner, Vic, and quite a few others. And this was his 40th anniversary in the cheese business. And then Vic got some publicity for making full cream Swiss.
Yes, that was his baby.
That was his specialty.
His specialty was
Okay.
his full cream wheel Swiss.
Wheel Swiss. All right. And then he also was quite active in other dairy associated things. He had a Dairy June month. The prizes, once again, at all sorts of get-togethers and contests. And Swiss cheese prize at the Greene County show. and etc. However, things didn't last forever. And this was an introduction into the days when things were starting to go downhill a bit.
Started to go down.
So it wasn't as profitable. Was milk, obtaining milk, a big problem? Was that a big problem?
That was a big problem. It was fairly hard to keep the local farmer interested in a cheese factory when they could get more money at a dairy. See, we were having competition from Roy's Dairy in Monroe, and they would be offering more money.
Is that about 50 cents?
No, I don't remember that, but it was more in comparison to what they were making at the cheese factory, and then they would pick it up, of course, and where the farmers were hauling. Most of the farmers hauled their own milk. We picked up some of it. My oldest boy went out before he went to school some mornings, and the hired man would go out and pick up milk. We had our own truck.
Okay. So you ran the factory with the hired man yourself?
Oh, yeah, we always had 2 or 3. No less than 2 hired men.
Okay. All right. And they still, most of your co-op members were still hauling their own milk?
A lot of them were, yes.
Okay, did that continue up to 64 or?
Mm-hmm. Some of them were still hauling their own milk.
Okay, so you didn't go with a
No, we weren't getting all bulk milk.
Okay.
There for a while we were taking in some bulk milk that we bought in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night?
Middle of the night and store it.
Okay. Did you have cooling?
Yes,
your
we
own
had
refrigeration from the start? Did the farmers have their own cooling also?
Yes, the farmers had their own coolers at home.
Okay, so you didn't cool for the farmers?
No,
you weren't
didn't. No, they
you
had
weren't
all
in
that
business
their
at
own
all.
coolers.
Okay. Okay, well, what were the first sign, I guess, from what you say, was that your milk market was shrinking. And when I moved here, $3 a hundred was the price on B milk, cheese factory milk, and $3.50 for bottle on A. And once they got cooling of their own and some of the other things, it was too easy to switch to A. Okay. Was there any advantage to if you had bought A, it would have been a disadvantage, wouldn't it? No advantage in quality, or would there?
Well, you would have to be sure that you had top-notch cheese to get the top price out of in order to come out at all.
Okay.
You have to, there was a monetary value there, of course, you had to look out for.
Right.
You have to look out for your own self.
The difference from what I've heard, at least in the around the years that you were making cheese at Five Corners, was about 50 cents between A and grinder.
That's right.
So that was a fairly significant difference. Okay. So then it became a bit tough to sell Swiss cheese too, didn't it?
Yes.
Especially in the wheels.
Yes, on the wheels.
But you never switched to block?
We did make block, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made a block, a lot of block. But our specialty to cut and to serve the public were wheels.
Okay.
And they were Vic's babies. He took care of all of his own wheels with. He would go down in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. He washed all of his own.
Oh, he did?
He washed all of his own wheels. He didn't.
That's unusual. Cheesemaker usually.
They were his babies. He took care of his own wheels.
Who did he sell to?
He sold to some to Armours, some to Monroe Cheese Court, up to Ed Ruth and I, some went to Company.
So it says he did have a fair amount of cheese in the co-op.
Yes, he did, and the co-op, yes.
Yeah. Okay. How many members toward the end were there in your co-op? How many patrons? Just the
I would say probably 20.
20? Okay, all the way up to the end. All right, and so you still preserve
all the neighbors around the whole area.
And I believe Ernie Ammon was the president
and
of
the diners.
Diners?
Alfred and
okay.
Ford dining.
There was a Miller cheese factory in that area too, because Doc Deininger gave me a picture of that. The colored one up above over there on a Miller factory.
Oh, in town?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was John and Carl Miller in the old Borden plant on the north edge of town where this was county now, isn't it? And Carl and John Miller made cheese in there. Because I used to go up there and get starter once in a while.
Okay, when you didn't have a starter, your starter wore out.
Well, it wasn't them to do that. That was my department every morning. Okay. Was the starter. I put the holes in the Swiss cheese.
You did? Okay. All right.
I did, because that was the baby. That was my baby, was the starter.
Okay, were you still using your own starter?
Sure was.
All the way to the end?
All the way to the end.
Okay. Did that...
and we had other, well, cheesemakers would that was one of the customs. If your starter wasn't any good, the business didn't test right, they would come up to you, or you would go to them to get started for them. You always made plenty the day before, so that you would have enough for whoever, if anybody came the next morning to get started.
But there were enough factories around, so there were plenty of people you could borrow some from.
Groceries, south of Pine Grove, and they're still in business.
Was there much difference between one starter and the other?
No, the starters, but you had to have the right acidity, you had to have the right taste.
So everybody had the right.
Yeah, that's right.
You had
to find the right one.
Okay.
That was going to work for you.
All right. So 1956, I guess, was when the failure of the cheese co-op, marketing co-op was.
Around there, yes.
Yeah, and the market apparently had deteriorated quite a bit because, according to the clippings, they couldn't sell it.
That's right.
And then you, I believe, didn't get a check for a couple of months.
That's right.
And that had to be tough, but it came back.
Eventually it came back to us.
Okay, but you came back.
But then we came back.
Okay, you were still making cheese for another 8 years. Okay, what changes did you make? Did he switch away from Swiss then, or from wheels?
No, we made block, yes. But then, in order when the Swiss didn't all sell, then we put in fats and made Munster and cheddar.
Okay.
For the last few years.
Okay. All right. So that must have been you must have been able to see it coming that this was going downhill.
We had to do it in order to keep.
According to the story on the time when the factory closed in 1964, when the patrons and yourselves decided to give it up, it was a loss of milk market.
That's right.
That did it.
That's right.
You just couldn't get enough milk?
No, you couldn't get enough milk.
Okay. Enough grade beef for cheesemakers.
To keep the bats on the pedestal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then Vic went farming after that.
Well, we went down on his farm, folks' farm for a couple of years.
All right.
In the process of changing renters, we got on that.
All right.
And we were down there, I think, 2 years.
And
then they got a satisfactory renter to rent it, and then we moved into town.
Okay, what did he do after that?
Then he was working for George Wolf in the carpenter business.
Carpenter.
Okay. He was working for George Wolf in the carpenter business when he died.
Yeah. Okay, he had an injury. Was that on the job?
He broke his leg. He was working upper level of a shed on the farm, and evidently there was an eye in there of some kind that a flaw in the wood, and he fell broken, and he fell through to a gravel floor, and broke his leg.
Okay.
And
then he was hospitalized and seemed to be doing all right.
He was doing fine.
And
he was just like that, a blood clot.
Everything
collapsed. In 2 hours he was dead. 56 years old.
Well, that's certainly young, especially for a cheesemaker. Okay. Any other comments or observations from the past here?
Nothing except that I sure cherish all the friendships we made, and I've made through all these. I still keep in touch with a lot of these cheesemakers' buddies and the cheesemakers themselves. I don't think there's one of them that don't speak to me when they see me. They call me Marian, and they'll all say, "Hi, Marian." "Hello, Marian, how are you?" Because all this and that. I don't think there's I don't think there's a cheesemaker around that isn't friendly. That they're all of a friendly organization.
Would you do it again?
I don't know. Oh, sure. I don't regret. I really don't regret that. We regret the years that we made cheese. It was a lot of work, hard work, but very, very interesting meal. Okay. You never, and you always had somebody coming in. Everybody coming in to visit, and then we shipped a lot of cheese out, and school groups would come out because, and we'd have a lot of tour groups come out because we spoke English to them and we could explain everything to them, and it was nice and clean and big, and we just had an awful lot of tourists come through, and they would send them out from town to come out to get some full cream Swiss cheese, or if they wanted some full cream out of the separator. Sunday mornings was real interesting. We had all these men come out from cream collectors every Sunday morning, and they would, there's probably a dozen fellows come out.
Oh. Like
make it their gathering place.
A little good cream on their strawberries or something, right?
Right, it was very, very interesting. They made a lot of friends.
Obviously enjoyed it, and still enjoy it, in memories at least.
Oh yes, so do I. No, I'll never give them up.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing. Good luck to all these beginner cheesemakers, that's for sure. It isn't like it used to be.
Enjoyed talking to you, and thank you very much for coming, and also for all the things that you've contributed.
Well, I am sure happy you could use them, that you put them to use like you did here. I'm very happy for that. Because I've told my family that they were here, and that's where all the literature and all the pictures and stuff that I had.
Well,
this was going to be preserved in
what isn't, and obviously we can't exhibit everything, but the rest of it will be in our archives, which will actually be downstairs, and perhaps more easily accessible when we do get a computer set up. The things like the clippings and the pictures will be immediately accessible.
I understand that, and I have some more that, and I didn't give them all to you.
Well, it's plenty for the time being,
but
it's like the clergyman's attic, we refuse nothing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, listen, I've enjoyed this very good.
So, thank you very much.